People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People7 on Twitter and YouTube, people are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com, and my t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. And I was watching a video, I'm a soaper. I watch soaping videos. I watch hairstyle videos because, well, I am a natural hair girl and I like to change up my looks every now and then. Find creative ways to change the color every now and then. This has no chemicals in it, but it's pink. Yeah. And there's a video on my webpage and on my YouTube about how I did it. So we share. And 90% of the times when someone shares something they know, they share it because they know it. Not because they assume it, not because they've had this kind of experience and they, figured that must be right. But when you see something that's dead wrong, you have to say something. I was watching a soaping video. It was a tutorial. And the person said, if you're going to make soap, don't use a plastic container because it can dissolve and blah, blah, blah. Use a metal container. And that's where they left it. You can. Let me show you a few things here. This is a plastic container. At the base of this plastic container, it says HDPE with the number 2. Okay? You're probably going, well, what the heck does that mean? I'm about to tell you. I use that container to do my hair when I do the Bentonite clay treatment. This one says, well, first we're going to stop dropping everything out of it. Okay, there's the code PP with the number 5. Even though that's a food container, that's still a good number. Let me tell you what these numbers mean. These are recycling codes, okay? Now, if you go over here where it says 1, that is PETE, polyethylene, terephthalate. Never could say that word right, but basically, this is safe. Then you have number 2, which is HDPE, that's high density polyethylene. Then when you come over here to number 4, low density polyethylene, and then the number 5, PP, which is polypropylene. Those won't melt when you use lye. Okay? They are chemical resistant. Now, these other numbers over here, 3, which is polyvinyl chloride, usually found in food containers, will melt. You take some. Okay, this is my water glass, and because I've used this so much, it's solid, it's acrylic. I can tell you right now, you can actually put lye solution in here. I wouldn't, but you could. It's listed under other, okay? But when it comes to food containers, because lye solution, when you mix it up, can reach 200 or something degrees, yeah, that can melt. Okay, number 6 is polystyrene. Polystyrene is what they make styrofoam out of. And you hit that with some lye solution, yeah, it's going to melt clean through, and hopefully you don't have your hand under here like this. because it will melt and burn you. You don't want to do that. Now, over here where it says number 7 and other, that's polycarbonate, nylon, etc. You see that in baby bottles and stuff like that. And it won't necessarily melt, but it's not the safest thing either, because when it starts to break down or whatever, it can put chemicals in the air that can be toxic to, you know, any human being around. Now, let's go over the metals. Yes, I've done my research, and I've been a kid soap for a number of years. And when I seen that statement, I said, let me get something in writing so we can explain this, because people need to know, and we can't have people out there going, oh, just use something metal. Because depending on what kind of metal you're using, you're going to have some issues. And I mean some issues. The safest metal for soaping, stainless steel. Okay? Stainless steel has no reaction to lye whatsoever. In fact, if you're going to mix up lye, you want to use stainless steel. On the other hand, aluminum. What happens when you mix lye up in aluminum? Depends on which lye you're using. If you're using NO or NaOH, otherwise known as hydroxyl chloride, or sodium hydroxide rather, it will produce a gas and melt and turn black. Lye eats aluminum. Now, KOH, which is potassium hydroxide, it does the same thing, but slower. So it will still eat the aluminum, turn black, produce a gas, and you still end up with a puddle that if you put your soap or whatever in it, it's going to eat straight through and be all over your furniture or whatever. You don't want to use that kind of metal. Okay, silver. I mean, people have noticed I do wear a sterling silver ring that's custom made with a purple butterfly. And when I make soap, that comes off my hand, goes in my pocket. Then I put my gloves on, and I don't have that ring on. If you put lye and silver together, especially if it's in the presence of a sugar, you're going to get an explosive reaction. The lye will bubble up when it comes in contact with the silver. And then to sterilize or purify the silver or recover the silver, then you use sugar. They use that as a method to separate certain metals from, you could use lye to make silver metal or sterling silver metal, you know, refine it, so forth, so on. Because that's the process that they do. I mean, you can even use it with gold. And that's the process they do to recover stuff. Like if you see things that goes, well, how can we get rid of all this stuff attached to it to just get the pure elements and, you know, melt it down and make a necklace or whatever? That's how they do it. They use lye. That probably didn't make any sense, but it doesn't have to for what I'm talking about. The next one is iron. Iron has no reaction other than an oxidative type rush thing. So it'll turn either green or red, because those are the elements of the rust reacting to the lye. You could use that to clean off a skillet or whatever. If it's been a 30-year-old skillet that, hey, I found this at a yard sale, blah, 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 and it's been seasoned and cooked on and all that for years, and you're going, I don't know what all that stuff is. I will start fresh. You put it in a lye bath. You let it sit there for about a week. You take it out the lye bath, dip it in some pure vinegar, apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. Just dip it in there, and then just take any cleanser and start cleaning it, and it'll clean it like that. No rust, no nothing. You can see the letters that was written into the metal itself. You know, okay, my skillet says large. There's some skillets out there that, you know, came from way back when to very new whatever, but they carve or engrave or pour the metal in a way where you could see who made that skillet, and put some aluminum foil or some baking soda or whatever, and then, you know, rinse it, and you can read it and see who made that skillet or whatever. Well, say for instance, all that was cooked over, grime, years and years and years. That aluminum bath, would just take it out right now, and you can read it clear as a bell, re-season it, cook on it, and continue on for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years or whatever. So, yeah. But as for, hey, I put lye with this, I'm going to make, you can actually make soap out of a steel pot, iron pot as well as a steel pot. But stainless steel doesn't leave the black, the, you know, debris, the whatever. Stainless steel is the safest of the bet, because then you have a sterile, let's put it this way. I use stainless steel pots and pans when I use sodium hydroxide lye and potassium hydroxide lye. My spoons are made of stainless steel. Anything that's going to come in contact, and that includes my strainer, stainless steel. Okay? Iron, well, iron has the potential to, they tend to mix iron with stuff. So, yeah, you might have a cast iron pan over here that has aluminum bolts to hold it down. I don't understand the concept of that, but it happens. Okay, I bought the Rachel Ray pots and pan set because it was purple. I didn't even think, oh, is that iron? Is that aluminum? You know, it was purple, sitting on stick. So I assumed, because it's sitting on stick, that it was, you know, iron until I got it home. And nope, that's not iron. It's that Teflon stuff. And Teflon over stainless steel over aluminum. That's what it says on the paperwork. And my brain said, did I just see stainless steel over aluminum? Because I'm a soaper. I know that means it says stainless steel right on it. It says Teflon right on it. But because it says aluminum, I ain't gonna trust it for anything to do with soap. Now, here's the funny part. Let me find something that can show you what that looks like. We'll go back to this bucket. Okay, here's a pot. And the pot is made of a certain element. In this case, it's plastic, but imagine it was an aluminum pot, blah, blah, blah. And then you see the bolts from the handle, and the handle is made of aluminum. So you're going, oh, I'm just going to mix up something. That aluminum will cause you issues. You look up, you go to pick up that pan, and there'll be nothing to hold it, because aluminum, lye, will eat it up like it's not there. I like potato chips. I don't have the ability to say no to potato chips. I'm like that Lay's commercial, no one can eat just one. Put some Pringles right there, put some Husbands right there, put some Gripples right there, and put some Lay's right there, and say, you could choose one of these potato chips. And then wait 5 minutes and don't look. You'll be looking like, hey, what happened to all the potato chips? You're only supposed to pick one. No, I can't resist potato chips. So I will eat every last one of them. I might not eat them like, but you know, I'll be like, That was pretty good. Oh no, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. Well, and I will, whether it be directly or sneakily, I will eat those potato chips. There's no off switch when it comes to potato chips. So I just generally don't buy them. Because if I buy them, put them in the house, oh, that'll last me a week. It might last me an hour. Now, I know I have no off switch when it comes to potato chips. When you put lye and anything aluminum in there, lye does not have an off switch when it comes to aluminum. So no matter what kind of container you have it in, if it's lye anywhere near it, it's gone. Okay? I can't make it any clearer than that. So when you're going to soap, you're going to make sure you have stainless steel, silicone, and plastics. PP is the best. LPD or LDPE or HDPE or PETE, those are all safe for making soaps. Now, if you notice, I circled it. 1, 2, 4, 5, those are safe. 3, 6, 7, yeah, those can melt under the extreme heat that lye produces. So, if nothing else, look, screenshot it, and don't use anything outside of that circle. Okay? And only use this stainless steel. None of this. Aluminum is a bad thing. Oh, and just because I studied some things on the periodic table and happened to remember and didn't even put it in my little notes here, so I'll show it to you now. Copper, if you put it with some lye, it will turn blue and turn into copper hydroxide. Zinc will become some kind of hydroxide. I forget what it was called, but it wasn't a good reaction. And magnesium, as in like Epsom salt or whatever, when you put it with lye, it reacts very violently, as in it catches on fire instantly and just burns. And it could be sitting on water when it burns. So make sure you don't have a magnesium anywhere near your lye. Make sure you don't have aluminum anywhere near your lye. If you're going to mix your lye water, use the plastics that are safe. Use stainless steel. Go to any soap and supply company and say, I need a mixing bucket, or I need a mixing bowl, blah, blah, blah. If you have no clue what to use, you could go to Brambleberry, Nature's Garden, Wholesale Supplies Plus. Just say, I'm looking for something to mix my lye in. They will have your hookup right there. Or you could go to Walmart, tell them I need stainless steel, and look, flip it over, read the label to make sure it's 100% stainless steel instead of stainless steel coated with. I don't know if y'all remember that one video where the stainless steel pot I had was black. I use it now for my fenugreek oil, so forth, so on. I actually bought that to soap with until I got it home and looked at it. It had a little teeny pinpoint of rust, and when you flip it over, come to find out it was stainless steel that was painted on. First thing I did was go, why is that blacker than stainless steel? That was clue number one. They painted a surface over it. which means not only is it not 100%, but the label lied, okay? And then I looked up and kind of found out it was stainless steel plus something. If you're going to get stainless steel, look for that silver telltale color and look for the words stainless steel engraved in it or printed into the metal itself. You know, like they do silverware and, you know, flatware, so forth, so on. You want to see the word stainless steel engraved in it, okay? In fact, my spoon rest is stainless steel along with, you know, a couple of pots and pans I'm not willing to pick up and all that. So I'm going to do a screenshot of that spoon rest so you can see. It says stainless steel right in it. All my spoons say stainless steel in it. Not on it, printed, you know, or wrote on there in ink or whatever. It's engraved in it. So make sure you see the words stainless steel in it. Make sure you see the letter PP, the number 5, or, you know, 1, 2, 4, or 5 on your plastic. Those are the symbols. Make sure if you're going to get plastic, especially for mixing lye or whatever, it falls into one of these categories. These, well, for one, they're very, very thin. So, yeah, if you pick it up and go, wow, that's thin. Yeah, wow, that might not be substantial enough for, you know, mixing lye in because it will melt straight through. The only other thing I can tell you is put your container that you're going to mix your lye in a sink. Add your water to it. Distilled water, not tap. You don't even want to use boiled. Get some distilled water. It's only $1 for a big old gallon size bottle. It's worth it. Put that in the sink. Pour your water in. When you do your lye, you know, after you stir your lye, and you make sure that the fumes aren't in your face, and you got your mask and your goggles on, so forth and so on, and stir it, and then look at it, and make sure you don't see anything leaking. Make sure you don't see anything, you know, because if it's going to dissolve and melt your plastic, it's going to do it pinprick style. So you'll see a little teeny hole, and then the hole gets bigger. So you're going to, I mean, the first thing I would do, like if I had some water here, which I actually don't, I would make sure I dry off the surface of my container, dry the sink, whatever, put it in the sink, you know, after you get the water in there, then put the lye in and just look. Because when you mix lye water, you have 2 days to use that lye water. Well, actually, you can actually get away with a week before you use the lye water. So you don't have to try to do it right now, because most times you want your temperatures to, you know, meld up. You don't want to use lye that's too hot with oils that's too cold, because then you'll end up with something that will instantly freeze and you have soap on a stick, or you'll have something that won't come to trace, you know. So that's why you have your temperatures within 15 degrees of each other. So you have time to do a lye test to see if your container is safe. Or you could just do tried and trusted. Hey, I got this PP container. I see everybody using the same kind of container, so I'm going to try this container. Or stainless steel. And yeah, when I cook with soaps, I use a stainless steel container or my crock pot. If you're not even sure, you could always use your crock pot. Mix your lye water up in there. It's a hassle because when you try to pick that thing up to pour, it's going to hurt. It's heavy. Or you could just get some lightweight stainless steel, or a stainless steel cup that's like this big, this tall, that's bigger than your, your immersion blender, so that way you can port or whatever, and then it immediately becomes something you can rinse your immersion blender in while you're working with the, you know, soaps and so forth and so on. But anyway, I've gotten that out of my system. That when I seen that video, and I'm not gonna mention their names, I don't want to embarrass them or anything, but it disturbed me to the point where, as a soaper, I needed to tell any new soaper out there, yeah, make sure it's a safe plastic you use or stainless steel. That's all I'm gonna say about that. In the meantime, I'm melting into a puddle of goo. So this has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com. My t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye!